Hi, welcome to CJ Creates. I'm CJ, and I create stuff. Today, we're going to be talking about 3 brand new Fakemon designs for my fan-made region, the Wentano region. Now, I don't know what you guys know about Fakemon, but all that I know is that I don't actually have a punchline for this joke. Let's move on. In creating the first stage Pokemon for this evolutionary line, I was shocked at how difficult it was. I've been on kind of a hiatus for the last month and a half or so, but I really thought I could just get right back into the swing of making brand new Fakemon designs. No issues, the ideas would just flow, and they didn't. It really took me 2 weeks to come up with just these Pokemon, and I'm nervous about when I'll even put out my next video because I don't know. What's my timeline going to look like? Either way, I fixated on something that I'm surprised we don't already have in Pokemon. A Stingray. Now, I know you're saying to yourself, CJ, we actually have Mantike and Mantine, which are stingrays. Wrong. Those are great oceanic rays, which are not stingrays because they lack a vital, bony barb on the end of the tail that is the stinger. There are plenty of amazing rays that live on our planet that aren't stingrays. That's okay. You also have a bunch of other weird animals that kind of look like them, like skates or really flat sharks. Either way, we don't have a true stingray Pokemon. Also, for people looking to correct me on how I pronounce Mantine, I honestly don't know what to call it. Is it Mantine? Mantine? Leave it in the comments. I don't know. Either way, I was excited to make a more coastal ray Pokemon with that stinger on there. It's not a stinger like a bee stinger, it's more of a bony spine coated in poisonous mucus, which we're going to leave out the mucus because it's kind of gross, and we're just going to make something sharp on the end of this Pokemon's tail. I also decided upon a Stingray because I don't have like a set 3-stage water line for my region yet. I do have the starter, and I've created plenty of other water-type Pokemon, but nothing that is the dedicated water Pokemon 3-stage for the Wentano region. So I decided to tackle that. Here's the issue with drawing Stingrays, though. They're kind of flat, and flat's not bad, but 2 dimensions is tricky to show in 3 dimensions while drawing in 2 dimensions. If that doesn't make sense, it's okay, because I don't know how to explain it any better, so we're not going to try. The idea is, though, that stingrays aren't perfectly flat, so I'll need to use the lumpier, bumpy parts of their body to really give this drawing depth. There are plenty of stingrays that are almost completely flat, but luckily they all have to have a head, and that head has to go somewhere. So, hopefully that translates in this design. Meet Hydring, the stingray Pokemon. Hydring aren't particularly fast swimmers. They tend to crawl along the bottom of the ocean floor and will sift through the sand for prey items. For self-defense, they will whip their tail around with its spiny barb in an attempt to ward off attackers or injure them. I don't know about you guys, but I do think it's kind of funny that the Pokemon types all have colors associated with them. Now, some of those make sense, right? Oh, dark types are going to be really dark colors, a lot of black. Steel types are going to be gray because metal's gray. I get it. I don't think it's wrong, but I am surprised that it's persisted for like 9 generations of Pokemon, and I feel like I have a personal quest to really circumvent the colorings of Pokemon. I don't think that should be part of the requirement to be a certain type. For instance, Hydring is a water type. It's a bluish seafoam green color with yellow, right? I don't think that's bad, and I don't think that disqualifies it from being a water type. I think if all water types had to be blue, that'd be boring. Now, interestingly, we do give an exception to fish, but anything else that's a water type that's not a fish tends to be blue. Again, just an observation. I think it's weird. Help me fight the system. Make weird colored Pokemon. Now, with this Pokemon specifically, I think I'm going to stick to that seafoam green color. I like it a lot. Also, I'm still running into the 2-dimensional animal in a 3-dimensional space, but drawing it in 2 dimensions issue. Posing is tricky. How do I make 3 different Ray Pokemon all pose differently with that limitation? I don't want to put them all in the same pose because that just lends to the same but bigger issue that a lot of Pokemon evolutions run into. So, here's what I'm going to do. I want to lean into something interesting that Rays do, and technically Mantine and Mantike do, I think I'm changing how I say mantine case by case. Moving on. They'd leap out into the air, and this is because real rays do this as well. So I decided to give this ray a little bit more speed, which means we've curved its wings, or fins, its fin wings, its fwings, if you will, and it leaps out of the water. Now, I imagine this is in motion, rising to the surface, about to break through, but it still has speed. You'll also notice that it has bronze-tipped wings and spots, as well as double tail spikes. It's actually not uncommon for stingrays to have two tail spikes stacked on top of each other. I don't know if there's a specific advantage to that. Admittedly, as much as I like to think of myself as an animal expert, rays are a little bit of a weak spot. Meet Glidralis, the metal barb Pokemon. Glidralis are significantly faster than their pre-evolution Hydring, but this does come with its own set of drawbacks. Now able to leap out of the water and achieve much greater speeds underwater, Glidralis' tail spikes have become significantly less effective as their tail has atrophied, making them a faster and more difficult prey item, but one that can't defend itself quite as well as Hydring does. Do you guys like patterns? I like patterns. One interesting pattern to me is the slacking evolution line. You go from slack off to Vigoroth to slacking. You go really slow, crazy fast for just a little bit, and then slow and also lazy again. I guess he's not slow, he's just lazy, right? I think I want to follow a similar pattern for my Pokemon. We're going to make a slow, defensive, basic Pokemon, a faster, more aggressive, capable attacking middle stage Pokemon. But when we get back to our final evolution, I think we're going to go slow and heavy and methodical underwater. Here's why. The first thing is that I don't want to make another Mantine. To me, it's a Pokemon that already exists, and it covers its niche. We don't need more. What I would like is a Pokemon that reflects stingrays and their actual impact and niche within the ecosystems they thrive in. So, this Pokemon's going to return back to the ocean floor. It's had its fun flying around. It's realized it's a much better strategy to be near the ocean floor and to defend itself. To do that, it's going to need its tail back. But I don't want to just do any tail. In fact, this tail is one single piece of an entire, very heavy metallic Pokemon body. I want to make a stingray that's also an anchor. And it's also a devil. The devil part doesn't matter as much because I'm just like the name Devil Ray. I think they're cool. And those are actually in the wrong family of stingrays. I can't really use them as the basis for this design in terms of the functionality of what the Pokemon's going to do, but I like devils, so I gave it horns, I gave its tail little double spikes instead, and you may be wondering, how is this an anchor? Well, lock your screens, flip your phones upside down, or your televisions, though that'll be a lot harder, and look at it this way. If you take the wings, the fwings, sorry, I forgot our terminology here, our fwings, and you flip them upside down, I think that translates perfectly into the shape of an anchor. We turn its tail into a big metal chain, give it some extra spikes and stuff to make it cool, and boom, you have an anchor stingray Pokemon. With horns because I also like devils. Might as well, right? A devil ray. Anyways, meet Ankevel, the anchor ray Pokemon. Ankevel have incredibly heavy bodies that keep them near the seafloor at all times. This is an incredibly effective defensive strategy because Pokemon who might otherwise try to eat them have a difficult time even flipping the Pokemon over to get to the more tender parts of its body. It can whip the large chain on its tail around as an effective weapon to both impale and bludgeon enemies. Ankevel are considered to be gentle giants and will leave you alone if you do the same for them. Well, what do you think? 3 brand new stingray Pokemon for the Wentano region. These took me a minute to come up with, but I'm really happy with the final result. I also love that they're stingrays because it means they aren't necessarily salt or freshwater specific. I could imagine them swimming up channels, at least in their younger stages, of the Wentano region's rivers and exploring the area that way. Maybe you can only find Ankevel off the coast in those larger areas that can actually, support its weight. But I'm really happy with these turned out. I like the idea, and I like the execution too. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, and let me know what kind of Pokemon you'd want to see next for the Wentano region. Thank you.